All right. I just wanted to thank you both for joining me today to celebrate and reflect on your historic win at the 2021 Junior Pan American Championships. And first off, congratulations to you both on being Junior Pan American champions. It's a huge feat. And as Ontario athletes, you represented Ontario and Canada at the Junior Pan American Championships. And to get right into it, once the final whistle blew during the gold medal match, what were you feeling or what was going through your head at that moment?
Do you want to start, Jordyn?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. There's just a lot of things running through your head. Like one thing for me that stuck out was that like how permanent it is, and like now that that game was done, like the buzzer went, like our names are going to be written on that trophy and they're going to stay there, and like to be able to be a part of that legacy that's going to be there forever. And it was just really special, a lot of excitement, a lot of relief, like a lot went into this tournament. To know that it's done and we won was just like a really awesome feeling.
Yeah, like when the final whistle blew, I kind of felt that we had made history, and I kind of had that realization. And all the hard work that we had put into training going into this tournament had really paid off. So it was really exciting to have that feeling and know that we had kind of set a standard for the program going forward, and the things that we could achieve and where we could go.
Yeah, your team definitely made history, and I'll touch upon that later. With the gold medal and the title of being Junior Pan American champions, like kind of what you guys touched on before, how does it feel looking back at everything you've gone through, your journey to get here, and your accomplishments up until this day, like leading to this moment?
For me, I played in the 2016 Pan Am tournament, which was in Trinidad. And in that tournament, we came fourth, lost the bronze medal game to Chile. And so to me, like it's kind of felt like a 4-year, or I guess 5-year process because it got delayed with COVID. But when you look at it with that lens, is that like all those trips went on to prepare, like all those national championships, all the university seasons, like all made you this player that got you to this point. And yeah, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of financial commitments, relocating to be able to participate in the training camp. So yeah, it definitely was all so worth it. But yeah, it's really cool to look back at like how much has changed, like how our preparation for the tournament changed, and then ultimately like how the outcome changed.
Yeah, and kind of like Jordyn touched on with the commitments, I think this summer was very different for our program with the way that we were able to train and the amount of hours that we did put in this summer with centralization. It was really different for our team, the kind of training that we got to have, and it really paid off in the end with how our team was able to work so many more hours together and get used to each other and really gel as a group. And I think it truly paid off, and all those hours were what led us to that gold medal game and really what got us the gold medal finish.
Definitely, yeah. It all accumulated to a historic win. Definitely nothing less than historic. And it was, I believe, the first Canadian junior Pan American gold and the first Canadian women's Pan American gold. And that's huge. And you have made history and leaving behind a legacy. And with so many fans watching your team make history, what do you have to say to young female field hockey athletes pursuing their dreams in sport?
I think that it's important to know that anything is possible no matter where you come from, what resources you have right now. As long as you like have the desire and you have the work. Usually it's scary to commit to something because it means maybe other things in your life you have to sacrifice, and it's scary to kind of like put all your eggs in one basket, but that's what's required to achieve things at this level. And so just to like not be afraid to fully commit yourself to something.
Yeah, and I think taking the chance to pursue those opportunities that you are given, in our case, like the opportunity to go out to Vancouver this past summer and put in all those hours of training, and also all the tournaments and competitions that we've been able to have the opportunity to go to in the past couple years have really led up to this. So pursuing every chance that you get to have good high level competition as well as good high level training is what really got us here and what will continue to make us a better program in the future.
I think that's really great advice for both of you. It can be scary committing to being a competitive professional athlete because you don't know what your future holds, but that's like with any big life decision or career decision. So I think that's really great advice. And just throwing it back to your semifinal match against Chile, a lot was on the line for you guys. Not only did your win over Chile in the semifinals secure your spot in the finals, but it also secured your berth into the 2021 Junior World Cup. And the Canadian junior women's national team last qualified for the Junior World Cup in 2013, making it almost 8 years since. And I think that's incredible that you guys got to be a part of making that moment in history. And how did that feel like at the end of that match, knowing all that you achieved already in the semifinals?
I think that those types of games are super rare, where you're playing for a podium, but then you're all playing for a qualification. And I've played in very few of those in my career. And I guess just knowing that the benefit of winning that game like didn't belong like just to us. It's going to belong to everyone who watches, everyone who is going to go to South Africa, like the team and staff that go to South Africa, and the chance for them to like finish writing this story. And it's just cool to know that like for me, especially because I'm older, like it kind of, when you have a final, it feels like everything's wrapping up, but it's actually like launching a whole new chapter for the team, which was really cool to think about.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and I think with how close both of our first games were, it was really pivotal that our performance in that game kind of would foresee how we would play for the rest of the tournament, because obviously with only 3 goals scored in the entire tournament, it was very close. The games came down to one goal. So being able to capitalize on our opportunities and really have that grit during those games was super important going forward, to be able to kind of determine our future and determine how we could find success in the tournament and beyond.
Definitely. Yeah. With your close matches, but being able to walk away with wins and having an undefeated run leading into the finals, it definitely built a lot of momentum carrying into it. And did you feel that effect on your performance, having that undefeated run leading into it?
I think a little bit, because it a bit changes your perception of the games coming up, and like it gives you a bit of confidence, but at the same time you kind of tunnel vision on the game that you're playing, and you're not worrying about the next game or the game that you just played. Just be in the moment. And like Danny said, there was not many goals scored in any of the games. There wasn't really room for error, as there's not really in any game. But yeah, we just knew we had to stay disciplined and keep doing what worked, and then change up what wasn't working, and then just keep going like that.
Yeah, I think in a lot of our games, we kind of knew where our strengths lied, like in our defensive structure. And so by playing to that advantage and playing to our strengths, we were able to make it work with only one offensive goal in the entire game. And so those kind of plays were really important in our game. But when you look at the big picture, it really came down to executing everything. And when it just came down to one goal, that was what we were able to make work. And I think in part it was a little bit of strategy by keeping those games close and playing to our strengths.
Yeah. And touching on your strengths, what do you think your team's strengths are going into the Junior World Cup coming up in December in South Africa?
Unfortunately, I won't be a part of the team, but I can still talk about it, I guess, because I know a lot of the girls. But for this team, I think the communication is really good, and they take direction really well, especially with Patrick leading the team. And people aren't afraid to work hard and work hard for each other. And I think that showed a lot in our games, like how the score lines were always so tight, is that we played like really strong defense, and just played for each other and took our chances when we could.
Yeah, like Jordyn was saying, this is definitely a unique experience, not having the exact same team playing in the World Cup that we actually qualified with during Pan Ams. But I think the same kind of core aspects remain with the group of girls that will be traveling in December. With, that communication, that structure, I think is there. And then implementing new players. Obviously, I think the program has a good tendency for like openness to that learning and kind of committing to different roles. And so with players that are very versatile, it is good for us to have people who can play different positions and be strong wherever on the field, which is really important in our style of play. And so everybody is very versatile and able to contribute wherever needed on the field.
Yeah, that's really important that you guys feel like you're adaptable, and it sounds like it's going to be promising going into the Junior World Cup. That's a wrap for all the questions I have.